Now, I don't play many turn-based RPGs, but this one caught my eye because this art style to me was gorgeous, so I just wanted to give this a try purely for aesthetical purposes. But I actually got a lot more out of it than I thought I would, so we're going to talk about it. So let's get into Artis Impact. Now, this was made by a solo dev named Moss, and as I stated, it is a turn-based RPG where you play as Akane, and she works at this agency called Lith, and they investigate these AI robots who are inching ever so close to the town of Sunnyside where you live. So you got to go out, you got to destroy them, also kind of figure out why they're getting so close, what their purpose is, things of that nature. And I'm not going to get too deep into the story. That's kind of the gist of what's happening, but this is a story that is best experienced and not explained, because it's kind of one of the pieces of the heart and soul of this game is the story. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but it was a pretty good story. It evolved and went places that I didn't think it would go to. But also, assisting Akane on the adventure is going to be the homie, the AI bot companion, who is simply named Bot. And a lot of the game is going to be you two just out and about, exploring, fighting, of course, talking to people, and you get to see their interactions and their, relationship kind of, I don't know if bloom is the word, but it unravels, it unfolds, and it can be philosophical at one moment, it can be comical at the next, it can be heartfelt at the next. This game had a lot of different topics and emotions and ranges that I didn't think it would really touch on. So that was actually a nice surprise that I got out of Artis Impact. Now, gameplay, I feel like it's split really between two main parts. You have the turn-based combat, and then you kind of have the exploration / like life sim side of this. So turn-based combat is pretty simple, not anything you haven't seen before if you play turn-based RPGs or RPGs in general. You have a regular attack, you have moves that are called arts, which are basically special moves that take away from your MP bar. And as you continue to progress throughout the game, you're going to unlock more arts, which means you get more special moves. You don't get a lot in terms of different weapons to use. She basically uses an R blade. There are other blades that you're going to find throughout the game, but she's not going to get like a gun or anything crazy like that. It is mostly the sword. The bot also does help you in combat. When you first start, he can only heal you, but as you continue to fight and destroy other enemies, you'll get different like little chips and things that he can equip that will give him other moves, so he'll be able to do more than just heal you. He'll actually be able to fight. And like I said, the combat's not anything too crazy. The upgrade system works in a pretty simple way. Of course, you get natural upgrades, just XP as you fight as you normally would. Once you defeat some of the stronger enemies, mostly boss fights, you're going to get these cores that you can take to this augment machine, and that gives you kind of passive effects on your sword. So for example, there's one that will gradually reduce the MP and the HP of whoever it is you're targeting in battle. And there are other ways you can upgrade. They have talents that you naturally get as you just get stronger. They have what's called aptitudes, which are these kind of perks or stat boosts that you get, and they're actually tied to decisions that you make throughout the game. So I really like that some of the decisions that you make as you're out and about in the town and talking to people actually do hold some weight, and you can actually get something from those interactions more than just seeing a story bit unfold. You can actually get something out of it, which makes the interactions just actually feel more important. And you can also pay for a combat rank increase, which will reduce your level back to level 1, but then as you start to level up again, you'll be way stronger than you were before. And yeah, she can get very strong, and we're gonna go back to that point in a little bit. But the other half of this game, aside from the combat, is the exploration, and this to me is really the heart and soul of what made this experience so fun for me. There's so much to do in terms of side quests, talking to people, just really getting involved with the townsfolk. You get to see some of their individual stories play out. You get to see stories that will add further context to the game, to your adventure. And it's just cool to see Akane really interact with people, and the interactions often play out through these gorgeous cutscenes that look like manga panels. This hand-drawn art style is so beautiful, and I love just the way they're able to just showcase emotion. You really just get to dive into the personality, not just of Akane, but of some of the other characters. You get to see the people in the agency. Billy out of control. Billy's out of control, but you'll get to see that. I love seeing the way just Akane reacts to things. She has like this. She's almost like a little kid sometimes, but she can also be heartfelt and emotional too. It's really good emotional depth. I feel like this game had that I wasn't really expecting. And like I said, just the cutscenes they're so beautiful to look at. Even in terms of the combat, just going back to that, just the way the backgrounds look as you fight, and as you go to different areas, the backgrounds will change, and just this game looks beautiful. It looks great. The animations are so clean. The presentation of this game in terms of combat, in terms of what you're going to see in cutscenes and interactions is great. But getting back to kind of the life sim aspect, there's so much that you can do just within the town that makes the town feel like you're really living in it. You can upgrade your house and expand it. They have a banking system where you can open up a bank account and purchase like a premium membership to get like interest on your money. There's a workout, there's a gym that you can go work out at to improve your stats. You can get part-time jobs. You can work at the little grocery store. There's one of the best scenes in this game is a scene that plays out when you go for a job interview. I don't even want to show it, but it is an amazing scene, S-tier scene in this game. And like I said, just those moment-to-moment interactions of you just talking to people and triggering these little side quests and special events that can provide additional story bits, can provide additional lore, or they might just be random, just funny moments between Bot and Akane. Like, it really makes this world, it makes it feel like you're really living in it, and it makes you want to go do more in terms of just interacting with people and seeing what every town and every area has to offer. So I think this game really excelled at that aspect. So the points of contention of this game, I would say, if we get to the negatives and maybe some of the parts that'll be more divisive, going back to the combat itself, while simple, I don't think is necessarily bad, and the animations, as I said, are beautiful to look at. But you can get very strong in this game very quickly. Within a few hours, once you really start leveling up, if you just take time to grind just a little bit in the beginning, and then as you naturally just start leveling up, especially if you go to increase your combat rank, it won't be too long before you're one-shotting a lot of enemies in this game. I purposely didn't upgrade my combat rank past level 2 just to be able to feel some kind of resistance. And even still, I didn't get much resistance until close to the end of the game, to be honest. So this is one of those games that it's going to depend on personal preference. Do you want like a hardcore gaming experience? Because if so, this may not be for you. If you're somebody who wants to just be able to just experience a game, play through it, not have to worry about too much of a challenge, just really get involved and get engulfed in the world and the story and kind of everything else that it has to offer, I think this will be for you. And I personally enjoy that aspect. I play enough stressful games as it is. So I didn't mind being able to play something that didn't hit back so hard, or that I was able to overcome fairly quickly. But it also worked because the other aspects of this game, I think, were done so well that it balanced out kind of the lack of challenge. But I also think this game could use some quality of life improvements. The saving system, to me, was a little weird. They have an autosave that triggers every now and again, and then they have like designated spots that you can save at. But I didn't understand, like, why can't I just save anywhere I want? I feel like that should just be a thing. And the lack of a quest log kind of bothered me, because there's so many different side events and side quests that you can trigger that I really wish there was a log to keep track of all of the things that you're kind of doing. You just kind of have to remember who you talk to, so just keep talking to people so that you don't miss out on anything. And there are some maybe mechanics and things that weren't explained in detail as much as I think they should have been. So some of the quality of life aspects of this game do make it a little rough around the edges, and kind of the lack of a challenge after a certain point, which is pretty early into the game. You just give about 2 or 3 hours and you're gonna be a tank. You're gonna be a tank out here. But yeah, that lack of challenge could definitely also be a point of contention for some players. So I definitely wanted to mention those flaws. But, you know, like I said, it'll depend on personal preference. If you really crave a challenge, this may not be for you. But if you want something chill, something you can get through in a respectable time, I finished this in about 9 hours, and you can get more out of it if you really take the time to do everything it has to offer. There are definitely some side quests that I didn't even know about until I finished the game and saw somebody else do it. So there's enough here in terms of exploration and getting quality time out of the game to feel like you got your money's worth. But it's also a game that feels like respects your time. This is not like a 40-hour adventure. You're going to be able to get in, you know, you can play this kind of in bits and pieces, and you'll still finish it in a pretty respectable time. But like I said, depending on that personal preference of whether you crave challenge more, or if you somebody who just really, you know, just wants to chill and maybe just enjoy a cool story and have fun with just interacting with the environment and the people and more of the life sim aspects of this game, then this may be for you. But that is for you to decide for yourself. As for me, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. The lack of challenge I was able to get over because I loved everything else in terms of art style, presentation, cutscenes, the story itself, and just the interactions between Akane and all of the different townsfolk and characters. It balanced out for me. So I had a really good time. I played this nonstop until I finished it. But yeah, this definitely gets a positive stamp of approval from me. But we're all different. But I just wanted to put this game on you guys' radar. You can come to your own conclusion about whether or not you think this will be for you. But I will leave a link below to the Steam page if you want to go check it out a little further. But that is all I have for today's video. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.